Good evening, everyone. My name is Athena Mazarakis, and I'd like to welcome you to the Center for the Less Good Idea and to this evening's Thinking in Instruments, the Open Moment. Thank you also for your patience. We had to delay closing the doors because people were still on their way, so thank you for that. So if you've been to any of our open moments, you'll know that this program is one that opens process up to an audience, whether that be a process that's come out of a workshop process, one of instruction or one of creation. It is intended to bring audiences really close into the process to understand the mechanisms and the strategies that artists use as they create and make work. This evening, you are about to experience what has been happening in this room for the last 5 days, since Monday. It is an opportunity that, I'm just going to give these folks a moment to find their spot. It is a moment for us to share with you whatever has been emerging in this conversation that's been happening in this room. I'm going to refer to my notes because I'd like to lay this out really clearly and carefully. So within the Academy, we believe that learning will always happen the moment you put artists into a space together, a space of exploration and play. For this program, we invited 4 artists with their own extensive and deep musical practice and careers. 4 artists that are connected by a central thread, and that is their relationship to indigenous instruments, whether it be the actual instrument itself or whether they be influenced by indigenous instruments. Last year, we were fortunate enough to meet Zawadi YaMungu, who was part of a project here at the center. She's an extraordinary composer, musician, who is also really central in sustaining and preserving the musical archive of Princess Magogo, alongside her own compositional and performance career. We were also really lucky to meet Mthwakazi Bongiwe Lusizi in another project. Mthwakazi self-identifies as an agro-musicologist, someone who grows her own instruments, and who reminds us that instruments are of the soil, of the rain, and of the land. About 2 years ago, we encountered an artist in this space called Victor Gama, an ethnomusicologist, a composer, and a designer of instruments, as well as a filmmaker, who is also really influenced by indigenous African instruments through his own connection to his homeland, Angola. He now works between Angola, Portugal, and Belgium. Zawadi, who I mentioned first, is based in KwaZulu-Natal, and Mthwakazi is based in East London. So just to give you some of the ideas of the geographies we're playing with today. The 4th artist is a superb percussionist who we encountered in a program called Thinking in Percussion about 2 years ago as well. And Gontse immediately jumped out for us as a really playful and versatile percussionist with tremendous sensitivity. So we thought bringing him into this mix would be absolute magic. We then asked ourselves the question, what is it to bring these particular artists into a space together? These artists who are connected through their practice that, through their instruments, reaches back into the past and brings them into conversation with the present, and in so doing, starts to shift our perception and understanding of a future. They're artists who not only preserve and sustain these traditions, but who are constantly growing and evolving these traditions through their instruments, through their relationship to their instruments, and through the conversations that these instruments provoke. So, as I said, we began on Monday, and this is the first time that these particular musicians have been in a space together, and it is the first time that these instruments have ever encountered each other. So we set ourselves the question of what conversations can emerge when you bring these instruments in dialogue together. And it soon emerged that when we begin to think in instruments or think alongside each other through our instruments, quite organically, the concepts and ideas of memory, history, our connection to the land, spirituality, and culture immediately surface. So what you're about to experience this evening is just a taste of something that some of the things that have emerged this week. We wish we could share all the incredible discoveries, but hopefully this will give you a little bit of a glimpse into the kinds of conversations that were beginning to emerge. This evening is a continuation of those conversations. In 5 days, one cannot compose and set anything. What we've created are forms to hold conversations and dialogues which continue in your presence. So we invite you to be attentive, to open your hearts and open your ears to these emergent conversations with these extraordinary artists. If you've been to an open moment before, you'll also know that it's sort of a combination of performed moments, of these explorations, so you'll hear some of these sonic conversations, but we'll also take a few moments to share some of the insights that have emerged. So I will be present to ask a few questions here and there to get the conversation going, but for the most part, we'll try and stick with the playing so that the musicians can really stay in that zone of listening and tuning into each other. At the end of what we've prepared, there'll be an opportunity for some questions and some answers, so if anything floats up, hold it for later. So with that, please join me in welcoming Zawadi, Victor, Gontse, and Mtwakazi into the space. So Victor, would you tell us a little about the instrument you've just played?
Good evening. My name is Victor Gama. I'm from Angola. This instrument is called Toha, which means
Just a second.
Hello.
We don't want us to hear you.
So the instrument is called Toha. It's short for totem harp. It's a totemic object, totemic instrument. It was inspired by the sociable weaver birds that build nests in bundles in the desert of Namib and Kalahari. And in a period of conflict in Angola, I saw in the Namib desert some of these nests built around poles, electricity poles, like with the cables going, and usually they build around trees, but when there are no trees, then they build around these poles. And so they built the nests in big collective bundles all together. There can be 200, families of birds in this. And it's a whole ecosystem, and it's like a natural sound installation, because the birds keep rebuilding the nests and going out to fetch food. Anyway, at that time of conflict, the birds were not there. They had fled. And so it was a tough time at that period. And I had, felt that I wanted to build an object or an instrument that could call the birds back, that you would evoke the spirit of the birds to bring them back. So what we see here is the nests of the birds, the dunes of the desert here, the night sky of the desert where you can see the stars and, the Milky Way. And all the cables are now going down, connecting the nests, and then here you can see these are the backs of the backs of the birds. Many people think they are sharp teeth, but yeah. So this is the toa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we move to the conversation between the Bo cousins.
ngami. Oh, let's take quite a lot. Mina ngakhula bengihleka. Mina ngakhula sebehlekisa ngami. Tuhan lapon sangat. Sini kuala lap. Angas babeng sega. Ya, bon way to check. Ala sa segi magan wa kebele na pa. Nanga kula sebe segi sangama ba. Nyamisa na haba mazikula na njenga mjinga lama paka na sebe zibondoka na kanda bobe njiwa ngamanqana. Oh, dunga sukuzwayo. Wathi sukuzwana msana yakhe baze bahawukile kamloko baze baphetha ukophela. Wathi umsikazi kamndemosha. Yeah. Thini khwela lapho.
Monday. We've been together since Monday, just to give you a sense. But so in finding this moment, these conversations, to get us to this point was really about leaning into understanding the grammar of each instrument and how you can bend that grammar so that you can start speaking with and be in dialogue with another instrument that has a similar but often rather complexly different grammar. So it's quite unusual that you have the Uhadi together with the Umakwenyana, and certainly the first time that they encounter Victor's Dino. So just to give you a little bit of background on each instrument, Zawadi, if you'll start with yours.
Why me? Good evening. Sanibona. Oh, isiZulu ensaziyo, hayi. Here I am carrying umakweyana, and it is interesting that I see your instrument yakwaZulu, but the instrument is everywhere in Africa. I heard in Shona, in Zimbabwe, it's Chipendani. In Angola, it's Hungu. In Brazil, it's Mberimbau. So it has all sorts of names, and I think it's also like different in playing, you know, because the dialects and the culture and history and everything. So this instrument here is called umakweyana. As to Sibongile, there is carrying Oadi, and there are some differences, but they're from one family. I call it an intimate friend. Yeah, because usually when our grandmothers are telling us stories, they're like, oh, we used to carry this instrument going to the shops, long walks, you know, I love that. So this is more like a friend than an instrument. And because of the the conversation that I get to have with the instrument and the connection and also the vibrations, most importantly, between the instrument and the body. The messages that the instrument is able to tell or transfer them to my body, and the body that has to create music and the words, maybe translating what is the instrument is saying, because these instruments talks, they speak, they connect, they talk to you as they are the friend. And also the way you play, they are very much closer to the hearts, you know, the heartbeat and everything, and the way you're playing in and out, so it's more like, this is like a very close friend of mine. I can cry here, I can tell her all sort of stories. And the name Umakweyana, the terminology Umakweyana, Umakweyana. So the word kweyana is derived from ikwela. Kwela is a whistle. So it is then kwela, but now kweyana, because there's a suffix of ana, which makes it to be a small whistle, if I can call it like that, because now it is not the actual whistle, which is ikwela. There is ikwela, then now it is ikwelana, meaning lingane, you know, it's smaller. And then there is a prefix of uma, which is uma, because these instruments mostly, they were played by omama. So it's umama edlala ikwelana. Thank you so much.
Betuna, Twakazi Lona, Sala intombi yasebabheleni olanga okhuboni inkomo zikazithi inkomo zikaXhenge inkomo zikaNdima inkomo zikaMabizela wena wabizela abantu behamba phesheya kwendlela into ezinamehlo sibheke zikaMabizela kuthiwa unongwa endlini ndingamdli mntu umloyile. With me, I am carrying Zawadi bow, but I will first start with the calabashes. I've been spending a lot of time with a very close friend of mine who's here in the audience with us today, and he's been teaching me so much about how they call this object in Swaziland, which they call ingula. Simply because of these pimples that you see around the calabash. And if you can see, this calabash is plain, but they are of the same family. So I've been exploring over the past couple of years. Oh, it feels like it's been so long, but yeah. On what I would call agromusicology, which is now as a self-taught person who's been working on the land and spending time there, I was thinking about a process where I'm thinking about music from an agricultural context. How does the calabash grow? How does the seed grow? What is the relationship between the seed and the soil? What are the environmental footprints given at this time and age, climate change? And if you look at a calabash, it's one object that you can use for so many different things. From storing sour milk, look, even now I'm storing my sandpaper. From making porridge, I also make jewelry out of the calabash. So I spend a lot of time planting, and I plant around October, which is also my birth month. In isiXhosa, it's called Edwaha. And then I harvest around this time. Now, because of the heavy rains in the Eastern Cape, I've not been able to harvest because it's been very wet. So I wait for the land to be dry a bit. So I always say to people, don't be fooled by the looks. I work the land. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is Zawadi. Just the name comes from Umadi, which is a hole. I'm imagining that the Kwenam would walk and hunt for hours, and they would need some form of meditation. And also because the Khoi, the Kwenam have intermingled with people, the Swati, the Buni, the Zulu, the shared language. And maybe somehow someone said, oh, so what if we put a calabash and then we call it Umadi and we call it Uwadi? So this is where the instrument comes from. Yeah,
Thank you.
Will you grab the mic, Victor? Thank you.
Not very friendly with mics. So this instrument is the Dino. Dino stands for dinosaur. And it comes from an encounter with dinosaur tracks in Angola, but also in Portugal, in a cliff where you can actually touch the tracks of these huge dinosaurs. These are sauropods, both in Portugal and Angola. And Angola, it's a slightly different animal. And it was the first time that I saw these tracks, and being able to touch them, it struck me because you know, seeing these animals in documentaries or animations or whatever is one thing, but then actually having proof that they really existed millions of years ago. So I had this urge to create something that would help me to somehow reach that kind of, or some kind of energy of this life form that existed so, you know, in such a scale of time. And the idea was to create, you know, something that would resemble the foot or would be associated to the foot of the dinosaur, and then a big, large bow with a string, and that the wind would get it to vibrate, and in that way you could maybe hear and feel the vibrations of that life form. This is all metaphorical. This is all fictional, and. In any, I did that, but then I realized maybe I would like to play this. So I scaled it down and I built, and I mean, these instruments have been going through a process of development, because when you build an instrument, most probably it won't sound the way it should, or sometimes it doesn't even sound to anything, you know, it doesn't vibrate or something. So it's a whole process. The Toe has been in development for the last 25 years, the Crux 27, the Dino maybe 20 years. And yeah, so here they are.
So next we're going to move on to some very delicate conversations we found. We noticed a particular affinity for a particular instrument for another. So we'll start with the toha and the handpan, and then we'll move to the duet between the ukhube and the pipe.
Dumelang sanibonani absheni nda. Lebitso la ka ke Gontse Makhene. My name is Gontse Makhene. As Athena has said. So my involvement in this project, in this whole exploration, is, well, as my name says, well, first of all, my name means enough. So, so there was, as we've been going through the explorations, we had to give the story of what our names mean and what was the story behind them. So, well, my name is Khoza and it means enough. So, what I bring in the whole exploration is, like my name says, enough, you know? Not too much of like the drums or too much of the udus or too little, but just enough, because that's what's needed, you know? It's the sensitivity that's needed, that's just enough. So for now, I'll leave it there. There's more interesting things.
And maybe we want to jump a little bit into this instrument because we had just created a conversation which was really inspired by Victor's story of the birds. And this instrument that I'm carrying with me is called, it has 2 names, or even more than 1 name. It started as a bow and arrow, so that's for hunting. And then it's called umkhube in isiXhosa because of its sound that goes home, like as you heard. That's the friction. And then when plucking, it's called umgangi or umgangala. And again, you can hear the name that is influenced by the sound. Right? So, yeah. Thank you.
So we were gifted with an idea earlier in the week by our impresario, Muyanga, who's not with us at the moment. He's in Europe, he was in Dresden, now he's in Amsterdam. And his little offering was for each musician to share a song and for the others to transpose that song onto their instrument. And the thinking behind this is that songs serve as libraries. The song contains history, the song contains culture, the song contains politics. The song is an entire archive. And so a number of the pieces you're hearing this evening come from that exercise. So next we're going to go to the song you offered us, Bongiwe.
Which is Ingembula. This song was composed by the late Nofinishi Dwili, who I can say lived around the same timelines as Princess Magogo. And immediately when we were asked to share, I went deep into my libraries and seeing myself as a young student and passing towards lunchtime on the passage, going out and hearing these complex rhythmic patterns that this amazing woman plays from Zawadi. And she plays the song Ingembula, which speaks about a colonizer. And this song, it warns us about vanity, capitalism, industrialization, you name it, oppression. It took me at least, I think, maybe 5-6 years to actually get the lyrics of what she's saying, because you can tell that it's a very intimate song. And it's called Yang Ingembula. And I think it's important that I share with you that the reason why Nofinish's music is close to my heart is because most of our music is being written about by people who look nothing like us, and they want to affirm it, they want to claim it. And you can hear Nofinish's frustration in the recording, and she says, "Bayalandela abanye batamanzi," meaning umculo wesintu, it becomes music when we all sing. So the researcher was really depriving Nofinish of that enjoyment. So I took it upon myself to make a promise to Nofinish to say, Nofinish, I will make sure that bayalandela abanye bathi amanzi yangena ingqungulu. Yeah. So there are 3 versions of this song. This is the new version now. So by the way, I did another beautiful version with Luanda Gokwana, and he put some really beautiful horns, brass.
Oh yeah, ho,
It's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Zawadi, tell us what you were trying very hard to get going there.
See, I'm sweating here because that was the most difficult task in the process, actually. When, when one has to bring the song, the traditional song, and then we all, you know, like translate it or transpose it, or make a better interpretation of your own from one song or from someone else's song. Like this song, guys, it is very much different in counts, you know, very complex, very odd, you know, it's very Khoza. you know, it's very Bongiwe. I really had to ground myself and go into, or invite myself into Bongiwe's space. Invite myself into Bongiwe's world. As to, it's like Bongiwe has invited us in her home. And then, you know, when you're in somebody else's home, you really have to do what they are doing, you know? I really can't be in her home and be like, oh no, I don't do that, you know, because I'm in her space. I have to respect her space. So, umakweyana is played differently and has ubuhuba notes, you know, like very, I can call it basic notes, and then it also into like the normal counting, the rhythm. It is maybe, and sometimes you can play those maskandi rhythms on umakweyana because it has different notes and you can play up to 4 or 5 notes here. But Uwadi has those rhythmic, you know, even the counts. If you can look at her foot and look at mine, because I'm really trying here to say, okay, I have to. And then she's counting 4 times, and I'm only counting 3 times because I'm like, hey, man, I'm trying my best here. So, but it was so beautiful to learn, you know, one's culture and one's rhythm, and all of us here getting together, playing together in her rhythm. It was really beautiful.
Yeah. And, thank you. Thank you. And I think for me, you know, when I was exploring on this song and spending time interpreting this song and really responding to Nofinish's wish, I was looking at music and architecture, that how the walls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, influence the way. Influence the way we think about music. Whereas when Nofinishi recorded this song, she was in a roundhouse, which we call Uronda. So then you would think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. So traditional music, then it moves in circles. You know, and the less you think about it, the better. Because if you try to think too hard, you will miss it. So I was just adding to.
But also play that rhythm. You're still trying to know the rhythm, to get the rhythm, and then you have to sing. Yo, that part. If you notice, I only sang like Kanyan.
Yeah. And dance and create, because, you know, I also came up.
No? Amazing. Hey,
you know, you can do so many different things, but thank you for that. Yeah, thank you so much.
Zawadi, today you brought us a new proposal. So of all of the proposals you're hearing, this is the freshest. Tell us what this is about.
What do you mean freshest?
It's the one it's the newest of the bash for us here. It's not fresh, I know that, it's part of the archive, but in this ensemble, it's a new idea.
It was a last minute ask for
Oh, you want me to explain? Oh, hey. I really don't like to explain, but yeah, I'm here. I proposed to bring is, I think, the whole process from Monday until today, we discovered a lot of things. And one of the most was, this is the past, present, but it's also the future. You know, the instruments are old, they're very older than us. They're also present, they are also the future, you know, if you listen to them and the way the connection with all the instruments that I hear on stage right now. So, and then I felt like maybe we can do a song that was composed by Princess Makoko, and then was also performed a lot by Sibongile. That is Uye Pina, which is Ogabani Lomtwana. So it's either Uye Pina, which is where has he gone to, or Ogabani Lomtwana, whose child is this? I think in this song, what we discovered, or what we want to present, is the different textures of our voices, because Bongiwe's voice is representing Mam Sibongile Khumalo with that ultra beautiful voice. Myself here singing Ngoguhuba, just like how Princess Makoko used to sing the song, you know? And but also today, in nowadays time, like here, bringing in different instruments that it has never been with before, it has never interacted with before, you know? Bringing akrux, bringing Udu. So let's see what comes out.
Yeah.
If it's bad, you can just tell us. It's
And I also
we're exploring here. Yeah. So if it's not working, you can just say, no. Cut. Yes,
I want to mention what you said around how you love the song when Umama Sibongile starts and then who follows? Someone starts and then someone follows. And then you said you'd prefer that I start with the operatic voice, and I said, let's break the rules.
Yes,
Let's do it
the other way around.
the other way around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so we're
And
doing
that's
it
what
like
we're
that.
exploring.
But it's starting with the acrylics. Ngokabani nalo mntwana Ngokabani nalo mntwana wale ndoda emacebecebana sengathi yabona okuyaphothulwa
think I'm hearing don't cut. I think we're liking the exploration. So just to throw it at you, wonderful artists, I'm going to propose we cut what the next one was going to be in the interest of time. It would have been the Urus and the Makwayana. And we go straight into Victor's.
Victor's, okay.
Yeah? So, as we said earlier, we were playing with this idea of song as library. Victor brought us something from a multimedia project that he has called Tectonic Tom. It's a project that's based in the Namib Desert in Angola. And he was telling us the story of this particular project, but underpinning it is our very much entwined geopolitical history with Angola, South Africa and Angola in the apartheid years. And in telling us that story, it evoked a really beautiful response that really expresses very fully this very deep entanglement.
Thank you, Athena. continue?
Let's go.
Yes, continue.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Love you so much.
So folks, if you have questions, now is the time. We have a few minutes for some questions and answers, and then we might have a little bonus something for you if you really want it. So please, hands up if you have a question, and then an usher will get this microphone to you. An usher or me.
Hello, hi.
Please be kind.
Firstly, Nkosika Kulundia Wilela, that was such a beautiful performance. And secondly, what emotional space or reservoir are you guys tapping into when you're playing?
Anyone can take that.
Makaphinde umbuzo ngokubuzo lo wam. Makawuphinde. Kaloku kuninzi into esiyicingayo. Makawuphinde umbuzo wakho. Please repeat your question.
I'll repeat again, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay. What emotional space or reservoir were you tapping into when you were playing? Was it joy? Was it sadness? Was it anger? Was it fear? Like,
Okay. Thank you for the question. I think I will speak for myself first. If you see, I'm wearing black, and that speaks a lot to my interpretation about grief. There's a friend here in the audience who is actually the first person who's ever made time to ask me, so Mtakazi, what happened? So my son, who was 4 years old, drowned here in Johannesburg, and he died while I was in search for a recording deal. And since then, I've never had the time to grieve, you know. I've been moving from one place to another, from one place to another, and in this process for me, I am confronting grief and finding positive ways of what am I learning from grief. Moving from wanting to talk about him and not ever wanting to hear about him, and talking about him and laughing, and talking about him and crying, and just being very heavy. He passed away on the 22nd of March, which also happens to be World Water Day. So it's just moving around emotions and also really allowing myself the time and the space to grieve. And I said, maybe this is how I grieve. And thanks to you, Alison, for opening up that conversation, because I've never had someone who asked me. You know, there are people here who, this is for you guys. She was the aunt to my son. We used to go to Tagos in Cape Town gigging, and I would say, Fuyo, nangumtanakho, umgcine, siyahamba siyogig. Athi, Thokazi, awunasimilo wena. Ungafika uzothi ugximba umntanakho bese uhamba uthi uyoperform. So it's just like really moving to this space and allowing myself and normalizing that conversation, because we don't get to talk about these things, you know. Sometimes you sit as an artist, people think you're gonna talk about deep intellectual stuff, you know, like you're getting into, you know, the zone. But really, honestly, for me, I'm coming out to say, this is how I feel, this is how I will celebrate. And with the honor of having these beautiful people that are surrounding me, and you guys coming from wherever you're coming from, and, you know, really being here to share my feelings with me. So that's what was going on in the process. Yeah.
Maybe to add on that, I think this week, in this moment, and in the whole process, we were really like, we are here, and let us tap into the space of not knowing. Just so that we allow all sort of emotions and embrace them as they are. Whether they bring happiness, well, we were excited to meet, actually, you know. I was excited that now I know more about instruments from Angola, know about Victor, playing together with Umtwakazi, meeting Gontse. All of us, we had those emotions of excitement when we were meeting here. But then with the whole process, so there's a feeling of excitement, there's a feeling of, why am I here? There's a feeling of, what am I going to do? What's going to come out? What are the outcomes? Mixing all these instruments for the first time as well, you know, it has never been done before. So what is this that we are doing actually? So we had to really tap into a space of, let us allow the universe to guide us. Let us not know, a space of not knowing, but then these are the outcomes.
We have a question over here.
Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful performance. Thank you for sharing your musical worlds with us and your internal worlds. I have two. One is kind of, I can't decide if it's a question or just a comment. One is just an observation. But my question / comment is for Mrs. Mtokazi. You talk about being an agromusicologist, and I really like that term. You know, within ethnomusicology, or so-called ethnomusicology, there's the burgeoning field of eco-musicology, but I think when you say agro, you're kind of highlighting the human element and the kind of the cultivation of that, and I think that's just a really nice kind of, you know, nuance of the slant of the eco-musicology kind of umbrella. But you know, you talk about growing the calabash and you know, that like your relationship to the land and growing these instruments. But I also know that uhadi, a lot of the time these days is made, the shaft of the bows will be made from black wattle, which is an invasive species, you know, that came with colonial enterprise. It's a very good wood, it's very malleable, it's very nice for building with, so it's very useful, but it's also, you know, it's taken over large swathes of land across the country. And I just think there's an interesting dialogue there to be had between like the calabash and then this wood that is so useful that, you know, is invasive and is not indigenous. And yeah, just that kind of that conversation and you know, I think maybe there's parallels with your own training in opera, and you know, it's just an interesting conversation if we're talking about the land, colonization, healing, you know. Thank you. And then my other observation is a lot more superficial maybe, but I'm just admiring the relationship between this kind of, you know, with Victor's instruments, this very kind of natural form, this inspiration, and you talk about drawing from archaeology, and but then you also have this very futuristic setup over here. And I think there's also a lovely dialogue there, you know, between the ancient and, you know, the future and where we might be going. And yeah, it's all just beautifully captured in this. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure if you want to respond to that, Mtwakazi and Victor.
I think I'm gonna be naughty, and you know, there's someone. My other half is here, and he speaks beautifully about how. Sorry to put you on the spot, but you have to talk. He speaks beautifully about the story of the invader trees in Case Kamahuk, and there are selective words that I think he would put. Mazibuko Chak, please tell us about the invader trees. So these are the conversations that we have, you know, around the agromusicology and what's happening. Yeah. I want to know about the invader trees, or maybe you can dive into the story about Kata quickly and how it affected
You've put your other half on the spot. He's too
He
shy
never.
to talk.
So
they will
but
take that as a-
basically there's, where I am in Case Kamahuk, there's a lot of invader trees, which what you mentioned, and I kind of imagined that, you know, instead of just looking at, it's called the black wattle, and the name they use, or we use, is umplandage, and it sucks a lot of water as a result. Water is a problem. We get our fields banned in winter because of that. And I was looking at this beautiful way that we can use those branches from the forest instead of just completely destroying the forest and really recreate from that. So this tree here is called umnyamanzi, which I got from Utatu Dizu Blaki. But umplandechi would be similar, which is the wattle tree from this. And we actually found out that as much as it's an invader tree, it's easy to bend. to a point where I would be under pressure traveling from Cape Town and around, and I would contact Matosini, and I'd actually realize when I go to Kwalanga, Matosini sticks are straight, and I would wonder, how would you bend them? Because I would imagine they would break. And then she says to me, no, you just put them in a tab and then soak them into the water, and then they will bend. So I was also observing that way of recreating and not just making instruments, like creating beautiful objects from what we can use instead of just completely destroying it. Yeah.
Victor, do you have a response to the second comment?
Yeah, I've been very interested about the origins of music and origins of musical instruments. And I came across researchers that have been working on that for a long time. And for instance, the family of bows is estimated to have appeared probably 400,000 years ago, because people had started developing their tools, and they basically, the form of this instrument has been kept throughout all this time. You know, it's a huge scale of time. But humans have always developed tools. So it started a long time ago. And instruments, musical instruments have evolved using technology, but also pushing the boundaries of technology forward. And you can see that especially now at this moment. For instance, it's the first time in history that, in the history of music and musical instruments, that musical instruments and their sounds have been digitalized. And that happens more or less in the 70s, 80s, then everything, you know, you find libraries of sound of every type of instrument that you can imagine. And software instruments, virtual instruments, and my background is in music and electronic engineering. I worked with hardware through development and low-level software, programming microprocessors and stuff in the 80s and early 90s, and then I left. And but I went across this transition in the digital age, you know, the emergence. And so my method is to use the tools that we have today in the 21st century. And instead of building software instruments or virtual instruments, I use that same technologies to create new instruments. So these instruments have been born digital via 3D modeling, and then you know, machining. I mean, every industry nowadays is using machines that are driven digitally with digital files, and the components here on the Akrux have been laser cut, have been machined using CNC machines, but these machines have been fed digital files that I've designed. But on top of that, and I think that's the most, the essence of the instrument is that, like Bongiwe has mentioned also, instruments are containers of meanings, containers of stories and histories. And when we create them, they bring in our, you know, the world we perceive, the conceptual domains that we bring to them. And so each of these instruments has been developed and its design has evolved because of a conceptual domain that this represents. For instance, the crux represents the Southern Cross constellation. So when you look at it, and I invite you, if you want, to come and see the instruments closer afterwards, you will see that these masts, these metal masts here, are more or less positioned in the configuration of the Southern Cross constellation, which you can only observe when you're in the southern hemisphere. And the glass soundboard, this is the glass, tempered glass, represents the transparency of the universe. We can see the stars and all of that because the space is transparent. And right here you see the line of the equator separating. But also it's connected to the Congo-Angola concept of circularity that, again, Bongiwe have been talking about, which is the Congo cosmogram called Dikenga. Dikenga is represented by 4 circles around a bigger circle, and everything is rotating. So the big circle is rotating, the other 4 circles are rotating around, and inside each of those circles, there are other circles. So it evolves in a fractal representation, and that has, it basically represents the circularity of everything, our lives, the universe. So I'm
Victor,
very interested.
I feel like that is a good place for us to wrap up. I wanted to also say Victor is in Johannesburg for a while still, and if you'd like to hear these instruments in concert, you can do so on the 17th at Wits University. I'm afraid that's all we have time for, but do you have it in you to hear one more composition before we release you into your Friday and your weekend? Good. So before we do that, before I hand over to you and to the song story that you brought us, Zawadi, Siyabonga, a huge thank you from the center to each of you for meeting each other and each other's instruments and each other's musical worlds and sonic landscapes with such generosity and such open hearts and such attentiveness. Thank you all for joining us on this Friday, and enjoy this last work and have a lovely weekend.
Siabo,